Hey guys, this is for Tuesday, April 28th. This is for Math 1, and the lesson today is graphing linear inequalities. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using what we've been learning so far about inequalities, as well as applying it to when we graphed like y equals mx plus b. Okay, so just a couple of clarifications really quick. So normally when we had the less than or the greater than or the less than, we would make an open circle. But now we're going to be drawing like a whole graph with 4 quadrants, x and y. So you're going to represent these with a dashed line because it's not included. The ones that have the equal to, we're going to represent with a solid line because that is included in my answer instead of the filled in circle. Okay, so just real quick to make that association. So let's look at an example here. So I have an example, and I want to graph this. Y is greater than or equal to 3x minus 2. Okay, so I'm going to start by graphing it the same way I would graph it normally. Okay, so remember we always start with our y-intercept, which is the -2. So I go down 2, 1, 2, and make a point there, just like we would normally. And then remember, this is like 3 over 1. So from there, I'm going to go change in y over change in x. So up 3, right 1, make a point. Up 3, right 1, make a point. Or I could go down 3 and left 1, because that'd be a negative divided by a negative, which is still the positive 3. Okay? Now, when I connect this, you need to pay attention to this. So this is equal to, so I'm going to make it a solid line because it's equal to, okay? So you got to pay attention to that. So I'm going to connect that through all the way across my graph. Make sure there are arrows on the ends of my graph, okay? Now, obviously, like we've been learning, if it's an inequality, the solution isn't just the line, but it's one of the regions. So notice I have a region down here, and I also have a region up here. So one of those is going to be y is greater than, okay? So we need to do exactly like we did before. We need to test a point. If you can, use 0, 0. Why? Because it makes it a whole lot easier to use 0, 0. Okay, so if you can. So I'm going to use 0, 0. What do I mean if you can? Just like I talked about before, if the 0, 0 is on the line, I can't use it. I have to use any point, but it cannot be on the line that I've graphed. Okay, so 0, 0 is not on the line that I graphed, so that's the one that I'm going to pick to use just to make my life a little easier here. Okay, so I'm going to use this inequality right here, and I'm going to substitute in that 0. Okay, so I'm going to put 0 in for y and 0 in for x. So I'm testing the point 0, 0 right there. Okay, so obviously that stays as 0. 3 times 0 is 0. So I just end up having -2. So is 0 greater than or equal to -2? Yes, it is. It's better for me to have no money than to be in debt, $2. That's a true statement. So since it's true, I'm going to shade on the side of the graph where the 0, 0 was, okay? So here's the 0, 0, so I want to shade on this side of the line, not underneath it, but on this side, okay? So this whole region right here needs to be shaded, whole entire thing, okay? Okay, so there is my solution, okay? Let's try another one just to make sure we're okay here. So let's look at another one. Y is less than -1/2 x plus 1. So again, I'm going to start graphing like normal. So this is my y-intercept. So I'm going to go up 1 first. This is +1, make a point. And then this is my change in y over change in x. So it's telling me to go down 1 and right 2. Down 1, right 2, down 1, right 2. Or I could go up 1 and left 2, because that'd be +1 and a -2. So this negative could go on top or it could go on bottom. Just make sure you don't make them both negative. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and connect that. Now before I connect it, pay attention. This doesn't have an equal to on the bottom, so I'm going to make a dashed line. Now you could make a solid line and then just erase it so that it looks dashed, but it's easier if you pay attention. Okay, so I'm going to make a dashed line all the way through my entire graph, like this. Arrows on the end, as always, to show that it keeps going. So again, I need to test a point. Doesn't matter what point I test. Personally, if 0, 0 is not on the line, I would use that one just to make your life easier. But you can pick any point as long as it doesn't lie on the line. Okay, so I'm gonna try 0, 0 again, because it's not on my line. Okay, so I'm gonna substitute 0 in for y and 0 in for x. Okay, so -1/2 times 0 is just 0. That's why I always use that, because it makes it easier. So I'm just left with 1 then. Is 0 less than 1? Yes, 0 is less than 1. That's a true statement. So I'm going to shade on the side of the graph where 0, 0 is, okay? So I'm going to do all of this down here where the 0, 0 is underneath the graph. Okay, and there is my solution. Now I do want to make one comment really quick. If it had come out false, what would I do? Well, I would not shade on the side where the 0, 0 is. I would shade on the opposite side, just like we did before with the other ones. Okay? All right. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know through Remind or Google Classroom or email, whatever is helpful to you. Let me know. Have a great day.